Lexie Natasha tweeted and was just saying a bunch about pride and how proud she was of this team. Have you kind of had similar emotions the last couple of days, and how do you balance that with a very painful ending to the season?
Yeah, I mean, I think like following the game, it's so disappointing to lose. And
something huge just dropped. And if you follow women's basketball, or even just keep up with major sports moments, you need to hear this right now. Two of the biggest names in the WNBA just made a move no one saw coming, and the way it unfolded had the internet going wild within hours. No press conference, no official announcement, no high-production reveal, just a 5-second TikTok that said everything. But what's behind that clip runs far deeper than a simple re-signing. Once you see what's being built in Indianapolis, it becomes clear why people are calling this the start of something historic. Let's begin with Lexie Hull. If you've been overlooking her, now's the time to pay attention. Hull, a 26-year-old Stanford graduate, was selected 6th overall by the Indiana Fever in 2022. For a while, she was seen as a steady, dependable contributor, the kind of player teams value but don't always spotlight. That perception shifted completely in 2025. With Caitlin Clark sidelined for most of the season due to a severe groin injury and a bone bruise in her left knee, Hull stepped up in a way that surprised even the most loyal Fever fans. She posted career highs across the board: 7.2 points, 4.3 rebounds, and 1.8 assists per game, while appearing in all 44 regular season games. Then came the playoffs, where she elevated her game even further, averaging 10.3 points, 5 rebounds, and 2 assists per game as Indiana pushed all the way to the WNBA semifinals. They ultimately fell to the Las Vegas Aces in a dramatic overtime Game 5. A player once viewed as a supporting piece had transformed into the emotional and competitive core of the team. So when free agency began and Hull entered as a restricted free agent, every team in the league took notice. The Fever understood the stakes. This wasn't just about retaining a player, it was about preserving something they had spent years building. Indiana's front office, led by COO and GM Amber Cox, acted fast. But what made this moment unforgettable wasn't the contract, it was how the news broke. Hull posted a TikTok, and not just any TikTok. She brought in Caitlin Clark to help deliver the message. The two lip-synced to Diamond Daz's viral track, "She's Back." Clark mouthed, "Tell a friend to tell a friend," before Hull turned to the camera with a smile and mouthed, "She's back." It felt completely natural, not like a staged PR stunt, but two teammates who genuinely enjoy each other sharing a huge moment. The internet exploded. Within hours, the clip was everywhere, and the top comment came from Clark herself, typing, "Yup," in all caps. That kind of chemistry can't be manufactured, but here's where it gets even more interesting. Hull wasn't just waiting around for Indiana to bring her back. According to ESPN's Alexa Filippo, she was one of the most in-demand free agents on the market, seriously considering multiple strong offers from other teams. This was a player who had proven she could help carry a team deep into the playoffs, and the rest of the league recognized it. There were real chances she could have left Indianapolis for good. The fact that she chose to stay speaks volumes, not just about her loyalty, but about her belief in what this team can become. "Indy has been my home over the last 4 years, and there's nowhere else I'd rather be right now," Hull said in her official statement. "We still have unfinished business, and I'm excited to keep building on what we achieved last season." That phrase, unfinished business, carries weight. It reflects a player who reached the semifinals, fell short, and is coming back even more determined. What makes this signing stand out even more is its timing. Hull's return comes during one of the most transformative off-seasons in WNBA history, a period where the league's financial structure has been completely reshaped. After months of negotiations, the WNBA and the Players Association agreed on a groundbreaking new collective bargaining agreement. The changes are massive. The team's salary cap is increasing from $1.5 million to $7 million. The Supermax salary jumps to $1.4 million. Or average salaries are projected to reach around $600,000, with minimum contracts exceeding $300,000. This isn't gradual growth. It's a clear statement that the era of underpaying elite players is ending. At the center of this shift is Caitlin Clark. Her salary situation heading into 2026 is one of the most talked about topics in sports, and for good reason. In 2025, during her second season, despite being one of the most recognizable athletes in the country, Clark earned just $78,066 in base salary from the Indiana Fever. That's less than many standard office jobs. Meanwhile, her endorsement deals with Nike, Gatorade, and other major brands were bringing in tens of millions. The contrast was striking and sparked widespread debate. Now, or with the new CBA and a provision known as EPIC, exceptional performance on initial contract, that narrative is shifting. Clark's 2026 salary is projected to be around $528,000, a 521% increase. Look at it another way, and it's roughly a 700% jump from where she started in 2025. And that's only the beginning. Under the EPIC structure, she could become eligible for a max contract in 2027, potentially earning $1.3 million, with projections reaching $1.7 million by 2028. A player who was once earning under six figures as the face of the league is finally being paid closer to her true value. And speaking of value, Clark's impact on the WNBA is unlike anything the league has seen. Even though she played only 13 regular season games in 2025 due to injuries, her presence still drove massive engagement. Attendance, TV ratings, merchandise sales, and social media activity all surged because of her. According to Sportico, she ranked as the sixth highest-earning female athlete in the world in 2026, with an estimated $16 million in total earnings. The vast majority of that income comes from endorsements, not her on-court salary. Nike reportedly signed her to an 8-year, $28 million deal, placing it among the most valuable partnerships in women's sports. This is an athlete who brings more value to her league than almost anyone in recent history. And the fact that the WNBA's new CBA is finally structured to reward that level of impact represents a shift that extends far beyond Caitlin Clark. It reshapes the direction of the entire league. Now, here's something many casual fans may have overlooked amid the buzz surrounding the TikTok and contract news. Clark didn't just appear to celebrate Hull's return. She also made a very intentional move in the comments that sparked speculation about another major piece still in play. She tagged Sophie Cunningham, currently an unrestricted free agent, writing, "At Sophie, hey, what's up, WYD?" The message was clear. Hull then chimed in with a camera emoji, and Cunningham replied, "The no invite is crazy. You two better make up for this horrible TikTok." On the surface, it's playful teammate banter, but it also offers a glimpse into the chemistry this group shares. And it raises a legitimate question. Could Cunningham, a fan favorite known for her energy and toughness, be the next to return? The Fever have already re-signed Kelsey Mitchell to a $1.4 million deal, making her the first million-dollar player in franchise history. They've added forward Monique Billings. Hull is secured. Aaliyah Boston remains under contract. Clark is back to full health after 8 months of recovery. The core is nearly complete, and the momentum heading into 2026 is something Indianapolis hasn't felt in years. Looking at the bigger picture, what's happening with the Indiana Fever right now goes beyond basketball. It's about what happens when a league begins to fully invest in itself. For decades, the WNBA operated in the background of the sports world, filled with elite talent and passionate fans, but held back by financial limitations that didn't reflect the quality on the court. Then Clark arrived. Attention followed, investment followed, and now, less than 2 years into what many are calling the Clark era, the league's entire foundation is evolving to match a new standard. A $7 million salary cap, a $1.4 million supermax, minimum salaries over $300,000, and a system designed to rapidly reward players driving growth. Whether you're a fan or not, it's impossible to compare where the WNBA stood 5 years ago to where it is now, without recognizing how dramatically Clark's presence has shifted everything. But let's circle back to Lexie Hull, because she deserves full recognition. The narrative around the Fever often centers on Clark, and understandably so. But Hull's 2025 season was one of the most compelling individual stories in the league. Leading a team to the playoffs while your superstar watches from the sidelines isn't a minor feat. It demands leadership, resilience, and the ability to rise in crucial moments. Hull embraced that role and delivered some of the best performances of her career when it mattered most. She finished 5th in 6th Player of the Year voting in 2024, her first season alongside Clark, and shot an impressive 47.1% from 3 in 34 games. Then, in 2025, when circumstances forced her into a leading role, she stepped up without hesitation. That's not luck. That's steady development, hard work, and patience finally paying off. There's another detail that speaks volumes about the culture being built in Indiana. Clark's social media presence has largely been brand-focused. Nike campaigns, Gatorade promotions, highlight reels. She hasn't really engaged in casual, trend-driven content since her Iowa days in 2022. Yet she showed up for Hull's TikTok without hesitation. Before any formal media appearances, but before the cameras were professionally rolling, they created that moment together. It wasn't scripted, it was genuine. And that authenticity carries over onto the court. When a player of Clark's stature, someone with massive endorsements and global recognition, goes out of her way to support a teammate like that, it reveals something real about the environment in Indianapolis. Looking ahead, the 2026 Indiana Fever look incredibly dangerous on paper. Clark is healthy and entering her 3rd season with a deeper understanding of the game. Aaliyah Boston continues to anchor the front court. Kelsey Mitchell provides elite scoring as the franchise's first million-dollar player. Lexie Hull is locked in as both a defensive stopper and perimeter threat. Monique Billings adds physicality and rebounding. The team has unveiled a new $78 million practice facility. And the city has fully embraced them. Fans packed arenas even during Clark's absence because they connected with the team as a whole. The Fever opened their 2026 season on May 9th against the Dallas Wings at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. And if this roster performs the way it's built to, this won't be a team exiting early. That 2025 semifinal loss still lingers because they know how close they came. Hull said it best: unfinished business. That kind of motivation can't be manufactured. It comes from experience. What makes all of this feel bigger than just roster updates or salary headlines is how it's all come together. In one offseason, the Fever have retained their top playmaker, secured their toughest defender, kept their core intact, and navigated an entirely new financial landscape. They've done it through trust, cohesion, and a culture built on real relationships. And somehow, all of that was captured in a simple lip-sync TikTok between two teammates who genuinely enjoy playing together. That moment said more about this franchise than any official statement ever could. If you're a Fever fan watching that clip on repeat, the excitement is justified. These aren't the moves of a team hoping to compete. They're the moves of a team that believes it's ready to win now. With Clark healthy, Hull committed, and the full support of Indianapolis behind them, the question is no longer whether the Fever are contenders. The real question is whether anyone in the WNBA is prepared to stop them. No press conference, no official announcement, no high-budget rollout. Just a 5-second TikTok that said everything. But the story behind that clip runs much deeper than a simple re-signing. And when you take in the full picture of what's being built in Indianapolis right now, it becomes clear why people are calling this the start of something historic. Let's start with Lexie Hull. If you've been overlooking her, it's time to start paying attention. Hull, a 26-year-old Stanford product, was selected 6th overall by the Indiana Fever in 2022. For a long stretch, she was viewed as a steady, dependable piece, the kind of player you value but don't always spotlight. That changed completely in 2025. With Caitlin Clark sidelined for most of the season due to a severe groin injury and a bone bruise in her left knee, Hull stepped up in a way that surprised even the most loyal Fever fans. She put up career-best numbers across the board: 7.2 points per game, 4.3 rebounds, 1.8 assists, and played in all 44 regular season games. Then came the playoffs, where she elevated her performance even further, averaging 10.3 points, 5 rebounds, and 2 assists per game as Indiana pushed all the way to the WNBA semifinals. They eventually fell to the Las Vegas Aces in a dramatic overtime Game 5. A player once seen as a role piece had now become the emotional and competitive core of the franchise. So when free agency opened and Hull was listed as a restricted free agent, every team in the league came calling. The Fever understood exactly what was on the line. This wasn't just about retaining a player, it was about preserving something they had spent years building. Indiana's front office, led by COO and GM Amber Cox, moved quickly. But what made this moment unforgettable wasn't the contract itself, it was how the news was revealed. Hull posted a TikTok, and not just any TikTok. She brought in Caitlin Clark to help deliver the message. The two lip-synced to Diamond Daz's viral track She's Back. Clark mouthed, "Tell a friend to tell a friend." And then Hull looked into the camera and mouthed, "She's back," with a smile that made it feel completely real and unfiltered. It wasn't a PR stunt. It wasn't staged. It was simply two teammates who clearly enjoy each other sharing a huge moment in the most natural way possible. The internet exploded. Within hours, the clip was everywhere. And the top comment on Hull's TikTok came from Clark herself, typing "Yuppie" in all caps. That kind of connection between teammates can't be faked. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Hull wasn't just waiting around for Indiana to bring her back. According to ESPN's Alexa Philippou, she was one of the most in-demand free agents on the market, seriously considering multiple strong offers from other teams. This was a player who had already shown she could lead a team deep into the playoffs, and the rest of the league knew it. There were real discussions about her leaving. She had legitimate options, competitive situations that could have pulled her away from Indianapolis for good. The fact that she chose to stay says a lot, not just about her loyalty, but about her belief in what this team can become. "Indy has been my home over the last 4 years, and there's nowhere else I'd rather be right now," Hull said in her official statement. "We still have unfinished business, and I'm excited to keep building on what we accomplished last season." That phrase, unfinished business, isn't just filler. It reflects a player who reached the semifinals and walked away wanting more.